Hi and welcome to the channel. This week I haven't had much content to share machining wise, so instead I thought I would show you some footage of a new machine I acquired. It's a drill press and I'm gonna give it some TLC, take the gearbox apart, not totally apart, but I will open it up and see how everything is on the inside, and then give it some lubrication and just general TLC. This is a Swedish Arboga. You can see the model there. It's a G2508. It's similar to the one I'm having in the other part of the shop. You can see there. This is just a bench type and this is a pillar type. I think it will replace my Strands S68 because it's a little bit more smooth running. It has some minor better features, and I just like that it's identical to the other one. Silly me. But when I did remove it from the trailer, I did use the hoist in the ceiling, and then one of the lifting straps did hit this reverse bottom, and as you can see, the plastic broke. It's old and brittle. Normally this machine doesn't have that knob here and this, but this one will function as an emergency stop, and you can't release the emergency and it will power up again. You have to reset it. So it's a nice safety feature despite it look like crap. But this one is a phase converter, so to say. I don't know the English word. It's not like the phase converter running in the US, but this one will change the speed orientation, so you can run clockwise and counterclockwise. So that's suitable for some quick tapping in the machine and other things. Normally these machines don't run in reverse, but it's a nice or it's easy add to a machine just to add a switch. So one of the or two of the three phases will be switched, and then the rotation of the motor will change. In general, the machines are very similar. There are several Swedish brands: Strands, Arboga, Modi, Arboga. There are quite a handful of machines. They are almost identical, but they are still made on different locations, or were made on different locations. They are actually quite good machines, very compact, as you may have guessed. They are geared, so they are capable of running quite low, and they have a quite good torque, so you can run large drills or annular cutters or hole saws in them, and they have a okay sized table. So it's a quite nice little machine. I had the plan to replace this when if I found a model bigger, and they have power feed, and they are built a little bit stronger. The column are bigger, and the base and the head is a little different. But in general, it's the same, but with power feed, and I would like that. But until then, I think I will settle with this Arboga. And normally, I really don't use the drill press a lot. Normally, I just use the little one in the other shop, or just use the Bridgeport, as it's also a drill press. But now I will continue to remove this side of the gearbox, and then we can see the inside. It's a non-lubricated gearbox, so there's no oil. You can open it up, give it a little grease on the gears and the bearings, or a drop of oil, and that's it. And if you do that once in a while, it will stay happy. Other than that, it's a very low maintenance machine. But let's take it apart and see how it's looking on the inside. This handle also needs replacement. This is just a nut. Normally in here there will be a spring and a little rounded part that will push against it, so it will stay in the place where you lift it. This one's just grab. Voila. And you can see the shifting arms here. Take a look here. The upper one is a little stiff, so I will add some oil in the inside, and also on the outside it's a spring-loaded ball that go into some holes, and if it's too tight, it's probably because there's some rust, and the ball and the spring won't operate as they should. Do work quite good now. This is just a depth stop that I'm adjusting, so I have the full travel of the quill. Normally there will be a scale mounted here, so you can see how many millimeters or inches you are going down. But here you can see the quill, and on the inside you have a spindle, and the spindle is powered by this shaft, and the shaft has two keyways in it. So it's nice to give it a little bit of oil on the inside, and that will make it run smoother. Also in the bottom here you have a tapered roller bearing, which you can lubricate from this side, and then the oil will go down. I'm just giving it some whale oil. So. Also the bearing having some. Let me just compare the spindle of the quill on this. By the look, they look equally worn, but there are no big marks in it. The other one I have, the bench type, it's almost brand new, so it's never used. It's an old machine, but it was never used much, so the quill is just like new. So that's fantastic. Up here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me just see. Yeah, on top we have a little cover. Normally there will be a little cup where you can add oil, and it will slowly run down and lubricate the bearings. You can remove it by hand and add some, if you don't have lubricant points by factory. You can see here, whoopsie, like so. It will have with a little lid on, and there will be a shim to add axial movement as well. Like so. Here I can give it a little oil as well. The previous owner have lubed it with some grease, so it's quite sticky. Every other gear is made of, I don't know the English word, but we call it Airtonox. It's a fiber material. It will reduce noise, and if you crash it, it will break and not damage any of the metal gears. So it's an easy replacing part and quite cheap. I have made several gears before for other machines in POM or nylon, and they will they last very long time. So you can make some yourself if you can't find anyone. I'll give this one some oil as well. But the main purpose by taking it apart at the moment is just to see if all the gears are there and no one are broken. If one or two of the teeth are gone, it will still work because it should be strange if it would stop right there. Normally it will just keep the broken part and continue driving, so you don't have to panic. But again, it's best to have all the teeth there. Like so. And then it's just putting the cover back on again. Like so. Let's see if it's still working. Do. So it's very simple and easy to do. Normally there will be a little bolt in that hole, and some have one from the bottom going upwards, like on the strands. But this one do not have that. Maybe I will add one. I don't know. Not at the moment. But if you do this once in a while, it will last forever, and it will be a machine you can pass on to your grandson. If you need to remove the quill, it's actually quite easy as well. You just unscrew the bolt on the other side of the quill handle, move it a little bit out so the gear won't interfere with the rack, and then you need to hold tight because it will drop, or else lower the head or move the tip upwards, or maybe put a piece of wood in between, and then you can pull it out, and then you have the quill assembly in your hand. It can be a little difficult getting it back up again because it will need to align with the two keyways in the shaft, but it takes maybe 4 or 5 efforts, then it's there. So nothing to worry about. They are very easy to work on, these machines. So now I will add some Chanticleer or CP100. Let's see how it will. No, this is just a little quick to see how the paint is. But it's it's a shame the electronics did get in the way of the crane or the hoist. So, but let me see if I can fix it again.
Enough for today. Thank you for watching, and let's meet in part 2. Bye bye.